Yeah, no, I want to see myself.
Same.
Good to go?
See what it
Mine's
look like.
All right, welcome everybody to season 3, episode 13 of Motivate Me 313's podcast. We are officially live and ready to get this show on the road. Looking forward to another great episode today. You know, we're gonna have we have a full house today. That's first of all. Let's start off with that. Let's introduce everyone who is in the building today. Starting off in the back, we got little big bro Yusuf Thabit, always in the building doing the ones and twos. We appreciate him and all that he does. To the right of me, we have Sada Thabit rocking Oz Media and Spartans at the same time. She may look like she wants something from me. That's what it is.
Why are you trying to suck
that
up?
That was my joke. I was gonna say, yeah, I need a favor from you. That's why.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
So is that a joke or serious?
No, that was a joke.
Just want to make sure. Of course, you got myself, Omar T. Then to the left of me, you got my other sister, Abir Thabit. She's in the building today. And then we got our guest today, which is Amina and Cheikh is in the building. So go ahead and give them a round of applause.
Sir.
You know, our audience, shout out to our audience, always coming on time with that round of applause. We appreciate them, well timed and everything. But like I said, today we have Amina and Cheikh in the building. And today's topic is going to be all about, you know, the journey of a multicultural marriage, you know. So Amina and Cheikh have been married for how long now?
18 months.
18 months.
MashaAllah, 18 months. So, you know, they're going to tell us all about the journey, you know, where they're at. You know, we're going to come up with questions, ask questions, and hopefully we'll get some answers. You know, I know a lot of people out there, especially now in 2023, a lot more common. You see a lot out there. So I think this was a conversation we've always wanted to do. Subhanallah. And then when we had the conversation, I was like, that's for sure the one that we'd love to do, want to cover. So we're looking forward to that. Before we start the conversation, be sure to follow us on all of our socials. You have YouTube, Oz Media, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, all under Oz Media. You can listen to our shows later on Apple and Spotify podcasts under Oz Media. If you want to call in, it's one of those conversations where you're like, let me give my 2 cents in. The number is 313-306-1750. Again, 313-306-1750. We encourage you to call. We love it when everybody calls in. Then we're going to give a shout out to all of our sponsors, Balkan House, Juice Box, Qahwah House, BC Adhesives, Specialty Medical Center, and Hanley International Academy. We're going to start off with the place that serves the best coffee and tea in town, in the country, and that is Qahwah House. So shout out to Ibrahim and everybody over there, and we're going to give them a shout out, and then we're going to officially get the show on the road.
You know, if you're ever in need of some coffee, then you have to stop by the best place in the country. You know what that is, Yusuf?
Yeah, man, it's gotta be the Qahwah House.
It's definitely the Qahwah House. It's the first Yemeni coffee shop of its kind. You can stop by Qahwah House to try their famous Yemeni lattes, Adani Shahis, Mafawad, and Jubani coffees. You can also stop by to try their delicious pastries, such as the Yemeni favorite sabaya, everything mini bites, and they even serve sambusas. They have locations in Michigan, New Jersey, New York, and Illinois, with more locations coming to a state near you. So no matter where you're at in the country, be sure to stop by Qahwah House and get a glimpse of what the Yemeni culture is all about. Also, don't forget to download the new Qahwah House app. You can now order your coffee and go, skipping the line entirely. It's like having your own personal barista.
All right, we're ready to get this show on the road. Let's first of all do like a quick check-in and ask our guests first and foremost, how are you guys? How's everything been? We'll start off with you, Amina. How's everything and what's new?
Alhamdulillah, business is good. We're booming. We're helping out people, so we're doing well.
Alhamdulillah. And Cheikh, how are everything with you, man?
I have been great, you know, working a lot lately, you know, yeah, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So, go ahead, son.
Have her bring your mic a little bit more.
Yeah, that way. Yep.
Can
So
you
that you can talk.
yep.
That'll be perfect. And you're good, Cheikh, by the way. So, Sada, how you been? Everything good with you?
I'm good.
Anything new?
Anything new? Nothing.
Abir, you got a new cat?
Yeah.
I don't think you ever mentioned that on any show yet.
Yes, her name is Smoke. I didn't name her. Shout out to Yusuf and Sada that named her. But she tried to run away today. But I promise you she loves us.
She does. I explained to her earlier, like if they purr a lot around you and do biscuits, you know, they're feeling the energy.
Yeah.
What's biscuits?
Oh, it's when they need.
Oh.
So they
We
do
used to
this
have 3
with their.
cats. I have to let them go, all 3 of them.
Why?
Why?
I knew you needed cat. I have cat allergies.
Oh, okay.
We got the
They were
cat.
my
We
cat.
got married. I was like, what are we going to do?
You know,
Yeah,
that's
it's compromise.
that's a no go for me. If someone can't handle
We're already starting. We're already starting it.
Yeah.
No, he did try.
We're already
I must
starting
say.
it. All right. Well, listen,
try.
I
What
did
can't
you
answer
say?
this right
He
now.
did try.
Yeah.
It wasn't working.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everybody has
all
a
that, but
yeah.
it was tough.
Like I feel like I might have a little bit of an allergy, but little Claritin does the job.
For now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have cat allergies as well, so I understand where you're coming from. That's why I can't be around cats for too long.
I was gonna say your daughters would love a cat.
Yeah, they would love a cat, but it's one of those things where probably can't happen. All right. So with that said, let's get things going. Okay. So can you introduce yourselves? Tell us about what your background is, and just tell us a little bit about yourselves if you can. Maybe we'll start off with you this time, Sheikh. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself? What's your background, and what do you do for a career as well?
All right. So my name is Cheikh. I'm from Senegal, West Africa. If you don't know where it is, it's in the northwestern side of Africa.
Nice.
It's called the land of Teranga, the land of, welcoming. It's a pretty nice country. That's, we have a city called Dakar, very historical city, a very beautiful country to live in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you do for a living, and what's your career path?
I'm a registered nurse.
Nice.
So I do travel nursing at this time. So I travel a lot between hospital, Lansing, Ann Arbor, Rochester, Pontiac. I pretty much circle around.
Do you enjoy it?
I like helping people.
Yeah.
So, on the top of that, it's a very, got good remuneration and all that. So I love it.
And fun fact, one of my favorite musicians, Akon,
Yeah.
from Senegal.
From Senegal.
Are you cool? Do you like Akon, or are you one of those people that I think
like Akon back in the day.
back in the day?
Back in the day, now he's kind of slowing down a little bit, and there's a new generation coming up. So
Yeah.
I'm more into the newbies now.
He was just here like 3-4 weeks ago.
Akon?
Yeah, in a concert.
Really?
Yeah.
Dearborn?
Yeah, no, in downtown.
Oh,
Yeah,
Detroit.
yeah. A lot of my coworkers ended up going.
Ah,
Really?
I heard about it.
I didn't even know. I haven't heard nothing about it.
Me and my friends were like this close of going, but then.
I would have never went, but I would have sent that message or email and see if we could work our, whatever.
Oh, I'm dead.
Yeah, whenever people are in town, you just gotta send that email. You never know if we could reach them or
If
not.
I
You know
heard
what I'm
about that, I would definitely have gone.
saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, how about you, Amina? Tell us a little bit about yourself, background, and what you do as a career.
I'm Yemeni and Ethiopian mixed.
Nice.
From my dad's side. I've never been back home. I'm very westernized
Yeah.
that way.
Do you ever want to visit?
Always, yeah, inshallah.
Inshallah.
When things are good, that's the plan. We plan to go back home to both,
Inshallah.
And I'm a realtor. I'm a realtor in Michigan, and I work in Dearborn and surrounding areas.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, the first question got to be, how did you guys meet, and how did that happen? And, kind of just tell us a little bit about, despite obviously both cultural differences, what made you feel like, okay, you know what, this is gonna work, So we'll start off with you on that one, Amina.
Okay, well, I'm a very fit person, and I used to go to the gym, and I used to train. And I went to the gym in Lansing, and I was struggling, to say the least, because I was doing it by myself. I was trying to do deadlifts, and he came up to me, and he had asked me if I needed help and said something about my form, and that's where the conversation started.
Wow.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And what was wrong with the form? Can you tell us that?
No offense to whatever you're doing right now. You're doing great. You're showing up to the gym. You're doing the work and all that, but you're crushing your back.
Yeah.
You need to work on your muscles, not crushing your back. So let me just show you how to do the proper deadlift. And that's where it started. So I show her, and she was like, huh. And then since after I show her, I'm working alongside with her next to the other machine. I started, kind of catching her attention a little bit. She started eyeballing on I was like, okay.
So I did ask
got
for
some point right
recommendations, and I did ask for some tips, and we exchanged information.
Yeah.
And then we started doing that once a week.
Once a week, yeah.
Once a
We
week.
started seeing each other once a week, and then I used to come to Dearborn every time I have a day off, usually every Wednesday, and then that's where it started.
Nice.
1 month go by, 2, 3, and then,
Nice, mashallah. So,
there.
You about to say something? Was it you?
It's like cute.
Oh, cute. Okay. All right. I thought you said you.
How
like, you about to say
long?
something.
How long did it take you guys to realize? Okay, we want to make this serious.
Well, we met in the end of January, and Ramadan was April, and before Ramadan we had already decided.
Wow.
Yeah, so it happened pretty quickly, like 3 months, and then he met my dad.
There you go. I mean, that's the right way of doing it, right? You got to get straight to it.
And that's the culture in Senegal too. Maximum dating time there is like 1 month, 2 months. Like
Yeah.
most of my brothers, they dated their wife like 1 month, two, and then I come from a very religious family,
Nice.
so they don't play around. And I was at this point of my life where there was no messing around. So I was ready. I was looking for a commitment. And then when I met her, she's Muslim. We share the same religion. I was like, you know what?
This works.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, at what point did it hit you? Like, you know what? I'm gonna settle down.
Who did it? Who wanted it first?
I did.
Yeah.
So I come to the U.S. Like I said, when you come from a country like Senegal, 95% of the population is Muslim. Like I come from this family where it's Salah, Zikr, reading Quran, that kind of stuff. So I moved to the U.S. The Western cultures. You start hanging out, meeting girls, going to the club, things like that. In New Orleans, I did that for a while.
Yeah.
And I kind of started losing something within me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I moved to Michigan, finished college, I'm working, there's something missing. You don't want to, live that messy life. So by the time that I started that, I date here and there. But once I, studied a dating field, being with somebody that, sharing the same belief, values, and, culture, it was difficult. So I locked myself out and I just started waiting. And I'm like, the person that I have to marry will
So
have
cute.
to be strictly Muslim.
That's me.
And then
Did you make dua?
I did.
Okay.
I did. So
We
it
both
was
did.
kind of like, quote, sign that, she come along.
Yeah, that Ramadan was a lot of prayer.
Yeah.
It was really good. I did that.
And I appreciate your honesty and being straight up honest and just sharing, your past and talking about how it got you to where you are today. Because a lot of people are afraid to say those kind of things. So I appreciate you sharing that. And obviously, it hit him. Then when he asked, did you you were like for sure this is
Oh, no hesitation.
yeah.
No hesitation.
Aw.
Alhamdulillah, yeah. The thing is, we share, like he said, the same beliefs, the same values. And I wasn't nervous about speaking to my family about it. They're very open. We've always shared everything. And they were also ready for that step too for me. So they were very happy and supportive when we first mentioned it.
And that was my next question, was the family's reaction, initial reaction. I mean, obviously, this is questions that we have to ask because, people are wondering, what would be your family's reaction when you told them that you're marrying somebody outside of the, your culture? So you said they were 100% supportive?
So my father, we were raised in New York, born and raised, and he knew a very large Senegalese community there. And
Subhanallah.
Subhanallah. And he actually speaks some of their native tongue.
Wow.
Yeah.
We talk Senegalese, me and my
Wait,
father.
Nice.
have you seen? I don't know if you guys seen the invisible string theory on TikTok.
No.
That kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah, so
You're going to tell us about it? Or
So
you're gonna just mention it?
basically there
Like tube.
yeah, basically, yeah. So kind of there was an invisible string, attached to you guys, tied to you guys somehow. Like for instance, you're dead,
Right.
and all that stuff, and then you guys, you ended up marrying somebody.
Yeah. No, fate, alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
And 100% I feel like it was destined. Yeah, so I told him and he already knew the culture and it was just a matter of meeting him. And he said, okay, you know what? A little bit, it took him aback, I think because it happened so fast, but he was happy about it. So alhamdulillah.
Well, it was not that easy.
We get the
Were you nervous?
PG-13 and then the raw version.
Right.
But here's the
right,
truth.
right.
The truth is any dad would be tough.
Oh,
yeah,
for sure.
I was gonna say
No matter
for
who
you,
it is.
you're like, this is a nice day,
Right.
Like, this is a
I'm
good-
like, oh, he's been, you alive?
yeah.
And then the soon as the thing gets serious, family get involved, that's where the culture start to play. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this is where I come from, that's how we do things, this is where she come from, that's how we do
Yes,
things. When the
yes.
dad started talking about, oh, we doing the mahar, stuff like that, I was like, whoa. So
And
now
were you doing it
things are
alone?
getting real.
So listen, did you guys do math? And
We do mahar in Senegal, but like
It ain't no Yemeni man.
yeah, like what 10 pound of gold and what $20,000. Like in Senegal, I
Wait.
give you a bag of date one cow. That's it.
Everybody's cultures have different. Because I was talking to one of my Lebanese coworkers. She was joking with us.
Yeah.
She's a widow. She's an older lady, and she keeps saying she wants a Yemeni. I'm like, why do you want a Yemeni? She's like, for a gold belt. I want a gold
Everybody wants
belt.
a gold belt. I've
And I
already
was
spoken
like,
to him.
girl, it's not worth that. She was saying that their mahr is a Quran and a Hajj trip.
Yeah.
Same
All
thing.
my coworkers are like
Yeah.
that too.
I have a Pakistani
See, that's
coworker,
smart.
and that's what they did. A Quran and a promise to Hajj.
Yeah.
But when you went and asked for her, were you doing it alone?
What do you mean?
Like, were you literally like
By yourself? Or
by
does
yourself
Is
going?
your family here?
I have one sister here.
Oh, okay.
But I stay in touch with my family and all that. So they trust me with my decision because, I was telling you I was the youngest in my family. But in the meantime, I got involved with my brothers and all that. So when they were checking their wife, they always take me with them. I'm the one who decides. So when it was my turn, they was like, oh, you choose for all of us. So go do your thing.
So that's where the culture comes in, though, right? Because in our culture, you have to come with your family and present yourself. And he's showing up alone. And my dad has his brothers and his son and his nephew. And he's like, what's going on?
Interrogating
Like,
him.
why are you-
and-
You
yeah.
probably overwhelmed,
And,
huh?
Yeah.
and that was the issue too. Because when you come alone by yourself, it's difficult to trust.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Like you're a migrant, you come from Senegal, you live in this country for what, 5 years and a half. Now you want to marry my daughter? Like, what's
Yep.
up, man? Like,
And then they hit you with the math numbers and everything
I was
else.
like, yeah, that was the one that blew my mind. I was like, oh.
She didn't even give you a warning before that?
No. That's where the culture comes to play. I was like,
Oh my
I
God.
want to scare him away. It happened so quickly.
Yeah.
No, that's funny. That's funny. I
Yeah.
appreciate you guys sharing that
You know,
story because it's the
people-
truth.
People always say the easiest part is meeting someone, right? And connecting.
It is.
The hardest part is when the families get involved and when there's even Yemeni families that once it gets to the nitty gritty, like all the details, even about the wedding, like the most silliest things, there will be arguments.
That was the toughest part. From starting to the mahar to finishing the wedding was like the huge like.
But I think because we had that in our head, we're like, okay, the wedding is going to happen regardless. The sheikh has already ordered the guys.
Yeah.
So we're not going to, and we did a very simple thing at home,
Beautiful.
We did-
That's smart.
Alhamdulillah, very intimate. And as long as everybody had a good time, my dad was dancing, my mom was jumping for joy,
Alhamdulillah.
his sister was there and everybody, it was very good vibes. So alhamdulillah, we did get to it, but getting to it was very stressful,
For sure.
because we had a lot of conversations with dad.
A lot of conversation, lots of
No,
But
alhamdulillah.
It was. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you first.
I'll say, but it was the conversations about kind of like just the culture clash. It's
Right.
not necessarily like not trusting him or whatever.
Right.
I mean,
So kind of teaching you the culture.
Yep, most likely the dad pull on his side, I pull on my side. This is what we believe in. This is what I
Meeting in
believe
the middle.
things like that.
Yeah.
So we have to, that's where Islam play a good role. So the
Yes.
religion will come as a referee.
in the middle.
Then we meet right there.
And that's
so
something,
that's what helped.
and that's
us.
what I told my dad too. I said the common denominator is Islam, and that's the most important. And there are a lot of other barriers, but that's not something you can't overcome.
And a lot of parents too, sometimes even their like the culture that they specifically are still holding on to are not what the man or the woman that actually want to get married still care about.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Because like, I mean, to other girls, probably, meher is not important to her. She just wants to study and get married.
Right.
But like her parents are like, oh, no. And then
don't
then
sell
it
yourself
becomes,
cheap.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
hear that a lot. Yeah.
It's like a lot of the times it's like the girl's worth, you know what I mean? Even though like it shouldn't be that way.
Sure.
If you know that this man can take care of you, like, financially and give you stability and open a home for you and provide you a life that, it's like, you don't want to start them off, especially when they're young, like in debt. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
But it is
It is what it is.
Yeah.
it is a lot of the tradition.
Trust issues.
Right.
No, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. And we're gonna do another ad break right quick. But it's been a great conversation so far, and I love the turn that it's taken as well. Speaking of different cultures, if you're looking for some Balkan food, definitely stop by a Balkan House. You gotta try their food. You're looking for that Bosnian European taste, then that's definitely where you should go. So shout out to Balkan House, and we're gonna continue this conversation.
You know what, Yusuf, man? I'm in the mood for some Balkan food.
Yeah, man, me too.
Well, there's no better place to go for Balkan than the Balkan House restaurant. The Balkan House restaurant is famous for their doner kebab sandwiches. But did you know that the Balkan House now serves breakfast? Did you also know that all their food is 100% halal? There are currently 2 Balkan House locations, one in Hamtramck and one in Ferndale. But they now also have 2 food trucks, so you can book your next party or event with the Balkan House on wheels. If you're looking for a nice place to eat with friendly service and great prices, look no further than the Balkan House restaurant.
Perhaps scare a lot of men
Invite me to
from
that
not
one.
getting married.
Invite me to that one.
All right, with that said, we're going to keep the show rolling. My wife, Emel, just chimed in, said, La falal, Allahumma barik. May Allah bless you both. Love the energy. And she put LOL again. She was just laughing
Ameen,
at
inshallah.
some of that stuff that was being mentioned beforehand. So you guys kind of talked about this. Maybe we could dive in it more. So how do you blend or incorporate each other's cultural traditions into your daily lives, or special occasions? And then it's like a part B to the question is, how do you guys, you have kids or no?
Not yet.
Oh, not yet. So maybe we could ask, how do you plan on, inshallah, doing that? And you raise your hand too.
I wanted to ask a question before we jump into that.
Okay.
For like the ones listening or for anybody. So when obviously you guys are from different cultures, different even like parts of the world, like
Right.
literally grew up differently, all of that good stuff. What were some questions or what were like the deal breakers of like how you knew or what you asked to know that, okay, this is going to work? Like what were like maybe the top 3 that were like, this is what is going to help us work?
I think faith, practicing our faith. That was number 1.
Yeah.
Family, what role they play in there?
Family, not so much, but my main focus was the relations. As long as we share the same relation, I can, wing my way around it and make it work. Like it has to be, because like I said, it's my base, it's what I know. And it has been my main issues in the past, that not sharing the same faith with a person have been my deal breakers. So once I have that, I will just work around everything else.
It's a foundation, it's just basically you have that, then everything else really should make sense, because we have guidelines of how we should follow and how to be a husband, how to be a wife. So I respect that. That was the main one.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned faith, but anything else too?
Yeah, I definitely know that I'm a little bit more westernized, or very westernized compared to. So there were a lot of kind of things that this is not happening anymore. Like we're not doing this. I'm setting boundaries for you, both professionally and personally, and I respect that.
100%.
He's my
Because
leader. We believe in his leadership, right?
Yeah.
So he is definitely taking the leadership of the household, and I wasn't used to that. So that was an
For sure.
adjustment. Yes.
no, because a lot of men don't know how to lead, and when they hear
Whoa.
That part.
I'm just
That
saying.
part.
Hit the air horn, Yusuf. Hit the air horn.
No, they don't. Men don't realize that.
Whoa. One more time.
Some men. Let's just put
some
some.
men, yeah. Let me stop.
I don't
Some.
want to cut you there,
Stop.
but exactly the truth.
Oh.
'Cause if you don't have a foundation,
Can
like
we
if you
get
don't
a
have
round of
guides,
applause?
like if you don't have nothing to guide you, how would you guide somebody else?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, and that's where religion, that's where values, that's where morals come to play. Once you have those things, then you can put somebody on the line and say, hey, these are the things that we are going to put on the
And
line.
I can't
do.
say no to that.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know, alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Allahumma barik.
Allahumma barik.
Ameen, inshallah.
And protect
Thank
you guys.
Thank you.
guys.
I did all my recitation. Alhamdulillah.
No, I mean. And then we have somebody commenting, then we could go back to the question too. Most importantly is respect, no matter what culture differences is. As Muslims, we enter or exit marriage with respect for families. A lot of you should take tips. It's ANN. So just throwing that
I
out
like
there.
that, Ann.
Shout out to you, Ann. All right, so let's go back to that question of, how did you guys basically, go into the marriage, and how do you blend and incorporate each other's cultural traditions into your daily lives or special occasions so far? I mean, you had a couple of Eids so
holidays.
far. You've had, I don't know if there's specific holidays that Senegal has.
We kind of celebrate the same holidays like Eid and the other one, Eid al-Adha.
Yeah.
Eid al-Adha.
So, that's where we, find time to incorporate. Usually, like we go around Riyadh to the masjid, go to the chai tea, get some tea, all that kind of stuff. So that's the time I used to, get to know her culture more.
Going to Qahwah House.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we get it.
Thank God we
So
did that.
I know he explained kind of how there was like a culture shock when it came to like coming to ask for you. Was there any type of culture shocks or things that you kind of had to understand from his end?
Okay, here's what the big difference I think sometimes when I look at both of our cultures is we're very hot-blooded, and
حرقين.
you know what I mean?
حرقين.
وهم هادين. Like they're so peaceful and they're so calm and everything is just like it's fine, it's gonna be okay, it's good. And I'm not used to that.
Yeah.
Because that's
Got the
not
fast life.
Exactly. So I think that's what he really enriched my life in that way. Like I share that with my family now. And I'm like, okay, hey guys, not that big of a deal, just chill, and learning to like kind of do that, inshallah, and yeah.
And when it comes to future children, inshallah, was that what you guys want to instill in them? Like, how are you guys going to address, your cultural differences when it comes to your kids?
I make jokes about it sometimes. I was like, she got my last name now. So now you're joining mine. I will, of course, go around and, do things and that. But I think the culture will be well set up.
And the language too.
Following the last name.
He speaks 4 languages.
Yeah.
I speak the 2. And we have English in common. So I definitely want my kids to speak Arabic, but I also want them to speak French and Wolof. So the plan is, inshallah, to take them back home and it could let them experience all of that.
Is that the 4 languages, by the way?
Yes.
Was Arabic,
It's-
French?
Yeah. So in Senegal, we have to, learn a little bit of Arabic because, of course, you have to study the deen and all that.
Yeah.
So that's where we learn it from. And we were colonized by the French people,
French,
so we
yeah.
speak French once you start school. The national language is Wolof. And then when I moved here, I started speaking English. So
Wow, very, very nice, very good English too, man.
Yeah.
Very impressive. 4 languages.
That's his 4th.
Yeah.
Fourth.
That's very impressive, man. So, mashallah, you, what are your thoughts on learning more than one language? Like, what you recommend it for everyone?
Definitely. It makes you more, open-minded and understanding of others, understanding other cultures, and
I recommend it too.
Yeah.
His family came from France and they don't know a lick of English and I don't know a lick of French. So that and they stayed with
Oui.
us. Yeah, right. That's all I said. And they came for 2 weeks and there was a lot of Google Translate happening. So I do recommend everybody, experience another language. And if I had a choice, if I can go back, that's what I would do.
I have to give props to anyone that marries someone that speaks a different language and their family speaks a different language, because I feel like I would feel very, very
Awkward?
awkward and like paranoid and like,
there's those times. Sometimes
Yeah.
when things get a little bit awkward because
Yeah.
you're trying to say things in a certain way that you cannot. Like
Yeah,
you mean to
you can
say
express
something
yourself.
in a way, but it's just tough. Like you can feel it inside you, and it's frustrating sometimes.
And when I'm with him and his sister, that's like the rule, right? Try to speak English as much as you can.
Yeah.
And when my mom's around too, and we're around each other, speak English.
for sure to be respectful and
respectful,
Yo, we got a couple air horns coming up, Yusuf, so get your hand ready. Tony Hussein from the Fantasy Guys from our Spurs show, by the way. Didn't come on Sunday, but we still love Tony, all right? Very true about most men don't know how to lead, but can we also acknowledge that there are women that don't allow themselves to follow their husband's lead because they will be viewed as weak? First air horn.
no.
Second,
That's another fact too. That's the real
experienced
truth
that.
right there.
I-
It's a fight. Hey, before a man can get to lead a woman, you will break out a lot of fight before
Hey,
that can
Amina,
happen.
you said something very important. You're like, it was hard for you, but you accepted it. I agree with Tony.
With the right person.
I'm
By
gonna
the
say
way,
something.
Shout out to my wife ML too. I love you. She does a great job with that. But I'm just saying, some women, I agree with Tony. Just throwing it out there. Both can be true. Both
Right.
can be true. I mean, and Sada.
100%. But
They
I
allow
like,
other.
wait,
Hold
go
on.
ahead.
Hold on. That's the
Go
first
ahead,
air
go
horn. We got 3 air horns coming up. All right.
there's more.
They allow others to dictate and judge their strengths and weaknesses.
But that could go both ways. That could go both ways.
You know what?
and being influenced, basically.
When I went from not being married to being married, and I made the biggest adjustment, and in people's eyes, they did judge me for it, and they said, "Oh, okay, you changed. You let a man to tell you what to do." I said, "That's my man."
Ooh.
Absolutely,
that's right.
That's
he
what
tells
I'm
me
saying.
where, when, and how high.
Hey, we're gonna round of applause. Man. We gotta hype it up. That's for the men right there. And then the last one: women are strong enough to ignore other opinions. I'm sorry. Women are strong enough to ignore other opinions, but they don't give themselves enough credit to do that. Last one right there.
Wait, I don't get that
Basically, they are strong enough to ignore other opinions, but they sometimes fall into that trap. You know what I'm saying? They fall into that trap.
But
sometimes.
what if it's actually a perspective that they're yearning, or like that's what they kind of want to, Am I making sense right now? Like, okay, sometimes it's nice to get people's perspectives because it opens your brain and like it's probably what you're trying to acknowledge, but like you just didn't know how to acknowledge it in that way.
You know what? If somebody is trying to share wisdom, accept it, hear it, and it may or may not apply. You need to know when and when, right? But if you know somebody's coming from a negative background and they've gone through things and this is their attitudes towards it, you need to also know how to block that.
And I also think what's important too is not a man that doesn't dictate but just lead. And there's a difference between dictating and leading. So yeah.
Those are all true.
So when a woman feels safe with a man, she's gonna allow him to lead.
Yeah.
But in order for a woman to feel safe, the man has to create that space for her.
Yes.
Like, listen, I got you. I'll take care of you.
And he's
If
proving
you're
it.
not, But now let's say I'm gonna put myself in the position, okay? Because I just know myself, right?
Sorry.
I work, I take care of my son, I do everything, right? For me to let go all of that and to accept like a person taking care of me, like you have to prove that. I'm not gonna let go of my stability and let you tell me don't do this, don't do that, don't do that, and then and then I feel like I'm begging you for certain things when I've been a provider for myself, you know? And there's men that are like that. That's why, like, if you want to lead, if a person, like I said, takes care of me in all aspects, of course I will listen to every word this person says because they take care of me, and this is that's my husband. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But if you don't provide and do all those things and you're not a good person, you're not nice, like, of course no one's gonna sit there and listen to you and obey you and be with you.
And that's
why
There's no way.
And he did, like, because I've been so independent for so long, he did remind me, hey, you don't have to take care of that anymore. Like, I got you. And I had to, like, it was odd for me.
I mean, the leading is not just verbal, right? You don't just come and say, "Oh, I'm gonna lead you. I'm gonna like start
Smacking
pointing
at
out
me,
finger."
listening.
You lead by example. You do
Yes.
things. You correct her with your own actions. Like it's more like leading by action than words. So I was like, "Hey, this is how we do things. Like, just do it instead of saying it."
Like you're looking up to him in a sense.
And I do.
And you need to be with someone that you look up to, because if you don't look up to your husband, it's not gonna work.
Sorry.
It isn't, because you're not here. Women are not here to, teach. You're not helping nobody.
My better
like,
people.
y'all- right?
Yeah,
I'm not gonna raise him.
Yeah.
We're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was just telling my friend the other day, I was like, I've noticed a lot of women these days are feeling like that they have to like prove to society that they're worth being married or whatever.
Or
it may
being
be.
taken care of.
Yeah. When in reality, the man is supposed to be proving that because he's taking bintanas, he's taking someone's daughter.
Just like how you were taken care of,
Yeah.
And that's why my dad gave him a hard time.
100. That's what I was gonna
He's
say
like,
earlier
right,
too.
yeah.
It's not
He's trying to make
personal.
sure that it's the same
Yeah.
Yeah.
transition in a way. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I just want to just close out some of the stuff Tony said. I just want to throw that out there. He said, when you allow others to enter the relationship, then all you're asking for is someone to pick a side rather than to come to a compromise. Two people coming to a compromise. So that's what he said. Did I?
oh yeah, I think the number
Yeah,
one
I
rule, and if you are happy with the person that you're with, I remember we did the circle. It's just you and them. Don't get nobody, like, figure it out together.
That's the first problem with women. If you try to lead them and they have a lot of friends, whatever you tell them, they go and tell on them and they change her mind and she come back and, try to apply some other
He
rules.
does check me on
That's
that.
That's the first rule we kind of make is like, hey, who are your friends? I come in and ask, who are your friends? Who do you hang out with? What do you talk
What
about?
is their
What do you do?
background?
And all that kind of stuff. I was like, okay,
And those
now
are those.
you're married, you're going to have to, be pen pal with certain people and then, kind of like...
pen pals.
Listen, those are those personal
Yeah.
boundaries I talk about.
No,
like
that's
he
good.
creates professional and personal boundaries, and I learned that because when you're on your own, everybody's your friend.
Yeah.
But then you have a companion, and they may or may not agree with the way you want to do things or the way you do things now, and they cast their judgments and their comments. And he said, you know what, they're coming from a different place. You need to step back.
For sure.
And then not telling mom everything and sis everything and
Yeah.
keeping things between
Yeah,
us.
that is probably going to be the best thing that you could ever do.
Yeah, I know. I've been doing it since day one, and it's, it's
been
the best
working
way.
great.
Because they're not going to forget, right?
Right.
The issues. But you guys are going to make up and move on, right?
Yeah.
But then that's always going to be lingering in their brain.
The fact that he's telling people is they're gonna, start formulating their own judgment, towards her, and then, that kind of ruined the whole setup.
Like, I don't
It's
want to
not
look
beneficial.
weak. I don't want to look like someone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I agree, but also too, I think it goes also too with the person. Like, if you know what you got You know?
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, I think you're solid. Sometimes I like to just play devil's advocate in certain things just so I could see the other side in a sense. But yeah, like I think at the end of the day, like it's gonna be your decision. Like you're gonna realize that, if this is good for you and if this is not.
Right.
Tony just said, great show, keep it up. I'm just happy you guys acknowledge that I'm right, so I'll stop while I'm ahead. So shout out to Tony. Love, stop while you're ahead, said Ahmed. She's laughing. Let me hear Amila, so keep me stay humble. Let me hear Amila right quick. Yusuf, you know.
I hate Tony.
Yes. All right, so shout out to Amila.
cute.
But in all seriousness, can we really share how we really feel about Tony, Yusuf?
I love that guy.
There you go. That's most Sufi. All right, I agree with Fahmi Hussein, said married man. All right, there's somebody named Married Man. All right,
whoever you are.
All right. Anyways, let's keep it rolling. I'm just having a little bit of a laugh. Okay, so with that said, communication is key in every relationship. It doesn't matter if it's husband and wife, brothers and sisters, whatever it may be. Communication is key. So, but dealing with different cultures, different backgrounds, I guess, was that like a hurdle to like understand? Like, do y'all communicate the same way? Like, do you guys deliver the same way? Like, how does that work?
Can I answer this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, English is his fourth language. So sometimes there's things that he says that I may take in a different way because he's just trying to communicate it the way he knows how. So in the beginning of the relationship, there was a lot of like clarifying, hey, listen, you said this? Did you mean this? Because it's starting to hurt my feelings. And so he would correct it. He's like, that's not my intention. This is not what I want to do. Like in our culture, we, it'll be like, in this culture, things are more lax and I might take it personally or the other way around. So there was a lot of clarifying. I think the language barriers.
I think
played
they
a
call it
bigger
here
role.
like passive aggression, right? So you might come, you mean something, you want to say something that is not hurtful, but the word might come out in a way that you didn't mean to.
Yeah.
And it kind of like create chaos a little bit, and you have to
Chaos.
lean back, think about it, and redo it again.
Yeah.
So it kind of like happened in the past a lot, and we have to work on that.
Oh, we're
for
so much better now.
sometimes.
Because now I'm like,
Sometimes.
you said.
You gotta, I feel like even with words too, certain words might mean more than other words, and that's probably like the only word that he might know for that word. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So then
Yeah.
that's when I'm like, oh, this is what you said. This is what it meant. Is that what you meant? And he'll correct it. Or same for me. Oh, we don't say that in my culture. Like that's offensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as long as both of you guys are receptive to each other and your feelings and whatever, no matter what, in every situation, every relationship, there's gonna be like little things that, but as long as you can verbally say, hey, I don't like this, and the other person can acknowledge that and be like,
And that comes back to the safety part of it all, right? I feel safe with him. I know I can open up to him about these things. It makes it easy.
And even if you're marrying, like even if I was marrying a Yemeni, like they might have different cultures in their sector or the city that they're originally from that I never knew. So it's like the culture appreciation in general and just respecting is so important.
Right.
No, for sure. I definitely agree with that. And so, like, going off of that, like, have you guys ever encountered like stereotypes or misconceptions, being in a multicultural marriage? And you guys want to share some of those?
Definitely. I mean, definitely. Whenever like we go around town, like you get that look. You will see that people are looking. It's like, oh, a black guy with Yemeni girl, things
Just
like that.
so stupid.
Nobody ever come up to us and say anything. I mean,
course.
we get a compliment most of the time, but you will definitely feel the pressure of the eyeball.
Yeah. And do you, if you don't mind sharing, like, do you feel like some type of way, or do you just shrug it off? Or?
Initially I used to tell her whenever we go out, I was like, people are looking.
And I never
stuff like
noticed.
that. Yeah.
Because my eyes are on him. Right? So I'm like, I don't care. I would take him to whatever places I wanted to expose him to, like Sheba, like Qahwah House. And sometimes it'd be a crowded day. And I don't realize that it might make him uncomfortable because he's getting all the eyeballs and he notices it and I don't see it. So, yeah, people make assumptions, but I just call out Sheikh.
Yeah.
I don't do it intentionally, but they don't know his background.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go for it.
Or I'm gonna forget it. That's fine. Is it because like do you have family that married out of the race?
I did.
So
Yes,
you're
yes, I
just
do.
like, why are...
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, it's over my head. And you know,
Yeah.
my dad is half African.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and we've always been exposed to other cultures. We're from New York. We're, you know, it's not something so odd, so crazy. And my family never took it that way. So when we see other people responding that way, it's very new to me.
Yeah.
And I'm, you know, for him, he's very aware sometimes.
I mean, he has to be though.
Yeah.
Especially as the man, you know, I understand that you have to be aware, just making sure that, especially like, you know, you have to consider, you know, inshallah in the future with the kids.
Yep.
It's something that, you know, how, I guess let me ask you that, like, how would you, you know, teach your kids and then like kind of get them to understand that, you know, I guess what would you coach them up on or tell them and talk to them about or give them a heads up?
I mean, the same thing I was taught with my, you know, by my father. I mean, you know, be respectful to other people beside their race, beside, you know, wherever they came from, you know, be truthful to yourself, be confident. And, you know, that's all it takes. Be confident about yourself and, you know, get your head in between your shoulder and, you know, move along with it.
Yeah, and be proud about who you are,
Yeah,
man. You know, because at the end of the day, there's only one you. So I definitely agree with that.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate that. And so, man, it's been a fun conversation so far. Believe it or not, we're moving into the last third of the conversation. So keep asking questions away, I'm sure. If you're at home, please feel free to shoot out any questions that you may like. We're going to go ahead and take another quick sponsor break to Specialty Medical Center. We're going to give a shout out to Specialty Medical Center, and then we're going to continue on with the show. Shout out to Cheikh and Amina coming on the show and being vulnerable and being able to share their relationship story because we appreciate it. And I know there's a lot of people out there that appreciates it as well. So shout out to Specialty Medical Center.
All right, Yusuf. So, you know, the other day I was playing basketball with my friends, doing what I usually do on the court. But as I was driving to the lane, I kind of hurt my knee.
Oh, man, not again.
Yeah, but this time I knew which place to go to that would take care of me the best. And that is Specialty Medical Center. Specialty Medical Center is a medical center that prides itself on patient care and its rehabilitation services. Their primary focus is developing a customized treatment plan unique to each individual patient's needs. Their center offers a full range of patient care, from diagnostic testing, pain management, physical therapy, regenerative medicine solutions, and surgical care. They currently have 2 locations, one in Dearborn and one in Sterling Heights. So if you're looking for a place that treats your medical needs the best, be sure to stop by Specialty Medical Center.
Do the broad camera first.
That's a really good question.
Ever, you know,
Stay on the show.
I'm gonna ask.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, you can go ahead and say what you're
you
about to say.
told me that I would never imagine.
I was telling them during break, I was like, did you guys always know that you would marry someone like out of your culture or race?
Never. I've never imagined that.
You thought you were gonna marry someone from Senegal.
From Senegal, for sure. So that's why we say, you know, when it comes to your significant other too, this is where faith come to play too, because it's not really up to you.
Yeah.
Like 8 years back, if you told me I will be living in Michigan, having a wife from, you know,
Yemen.
I would be like, that's not possible. There's no possibility with that. But here we are today. So
How did you get to America? Like how?
I come here as a student.
Okay.
So, you know, student visa, went to New Orleans, study, come to Michigan, finish, you know, school, started working, and then,
You met her.
yeah.
I mean,
And she
perfect.
had the sugar in my
Subhanallah, the
life.
timing, right?
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
subhanallah.
Yeah.
You never know where your mektub is.
Yeah.
You could still be in, you know, a whole different country.
Right. So I did travel outside when I first graduated college. I was in Abu Dhabi for 2 years.
Oh, nice.
And
Did
I
you-
taught
did you
there.
teach? Really?
Yeah,
How was that?
yeah.
I'm sorry, this is off topic, but
It was beautiful. And being exposed to other cultures. I never thought I'd be with somebody outside of Arabi culture. It never crossed my mind.
yeah.
So, you know, I'm back home and I'm working and I'm helping with the family and I'm, you know, I'm not really thinking about who I'm going to marry. I wasn't closed-minded about it, but I wasn't
Looking
really
for it.
Yeah, subhanallah. Yeah.
I know we kind of a little bit touched on this, but like coming up with like cultural misunderstandings, like whenever you guys maybe misunderstood the other person's culture, even maybe you've taken it back to like, you know, the conversations with the father, like how did you like work through them? Did you come to like a compromise, or did you say like, all right, you know what, I'm gonna respect this, but this one right here, like we're gonna have to figure it out? Like how did you guys handle that?
There's definitely gonna be a lot of compromises because it takes once to know one, right? You have to have a culture to respect another culture. If you ain't got one, you cannot, you know,
That's a
see
good-
the perspective of
that's a
another
nice
person. So whenever they brought things up, I kind of like just, you know, try to find a common ground. You bring yours, I bring mine, and we meet in the middle. It's not like I'm joining you or you joining me, but let's find a commonality somewhere and then make it work. And then this is what I tell people about culture. Culture was a man-made thing, right? People created culture. Man created culture. So it's set a rule. You can use it on your opportunity. There is good, there is bad. You use the good to prosper, you let the bad go.
That amazing.
Yeah, that was a good answer.
That definitely deserves a round of applause. Yusuf. If you can do that, then Amina, we can. Same question to you, I guess.
Any misconceptions? No. You know, like I said, we have that commonality where Islam is our basis. So it makes things very easy. And when there is a question that we're, you know, wondering about, Islam is very black and white. So he explains it to me the way it needs to be explained, and I follow through, and that's that. You know, it's not very hard.
So let's switch it up.
Okay.
What are some favorite, like, what do you like most about the Senegal culture? And then what do you like most about the Yemeni culture?
Al-Hadu.
How about like some traditions or anything?
You know, the family, food. First of all, family.
Okay.
Their family is very close and it's a very big family, and I love being a part of it, and I love experiencing that because I come from a smaller family as well. And you know, he said, he comes from the country of Teranga, which is hospitality, and everyone's just so happy and loving, and you know, togetherness. It's beautiful, and the food is delicious, very meaty. We have mafe. Like I started to learn how to cook.
I was gonna say,
that was familiar to
okay.
him, and he loves Yemeni food. So he's all about that.
That's definitely the benefit of being
Yeah.
out of the month. I can eat 30 different dishes.
Mashallah.
Every day
Alhamdulillah.
different one, from Senegalese to Yemeni.
Yeah.
And then, you know, add on to the American dishes. I was like, wow, this is really amazing.
What's your favorite food?
Yemeni food.
Is it
My
Yemeni?
favorite Yemeni food.
I can say the name
Is
of
it
it.
what's your mom make? Her
I
mom made a dish. It's called injera. I'm not really sure.
Oh,
if
that's
it's
the
from
Habashi
Yemen.
food.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's the Ethiopian food. He likes
Yeah,
the, you know,
yeah.
the injera with all the little fixings.
I'm not.
The cabbage. Oh, we'll have to go out for Ethiopia.
Yeah,
I'm
me
down.
too, girl.
I'm down.
Yeah, and we made it traditionally growing up. And because it has so many options, you know, it's a good hand
Yeah.
eating
So
food.
her mother just surprised me sometimes. She just pop up, make a dish, and then take off.
But are you a fan of asid or the fahsa?
I see.
It's the one.
I'm not either of
and the
asid.
maraq. I love asid.
I love acid.
I don't care for
As a
asid.
kid,
No,
I never
she
liked
knows
it, but
that's
now
my
I love.
favorite.
Now I love
Yeah.
acid.
In a cold
But
day.
Fahsa is number
Yeah, it's the
one
best.
next to kebsa to me. Those are
Yeah.
like
He loves hanid.
and honey's man.
Roast
Yeah.
lamb.
What do we get? Yeah. Roast
You guys
lamb
do
and
like
roast
the
chicken.
zurbian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
Zurbian. That's what he orders at Sheba. That's his go-to.
We'll
the
get people
time.
hungry at home.
I know.
now.
It
They
got
gonna
me
be upset
hungry.
at us. So
All the time.
He never eats out for
You know, food is the one thing that will bring cultures
Yes.
together.
SubhanAllah, right?
For sure.
And don't mind me. That's the best part of it.
Only?
That's the best part. Alhamdulillah. I mean, it's like that, but you know, the food
I get
is
it.
yeah,
great.
okay, I mean,
get it.
that's, you know, for sure. I understand. I completely can agree with him on that one. So, in what ways, like being in a multicultural marriage, has broadened your perspective, you know, and enriched your lives? Like, how has it made you guys better people? How has it made you open-minded? And, you know, so you're doing the yoga pose,
Right. It's the hadu.
Yeah.
It's the calmness. My voice, like I said, rises. So, you know, it's a kind of reminder, hey, you know, let's chill. Like, we don't really argue. We have no reason to raise our voice. Alhamdulillah. So, you know, just having conversations, talking things through. I don't know I know it's his culture because I know it's not mine. I feel you, you know? And like I said, and I think he's learned this too. We're very hammy. So, you know, to have that is very nice and very important in a household. So to experience it with him, it's really beautiful.
And how about for you?
It just take a lot of patience, a lot of, you know, because, you know, culture is like very thorough, right? You can say, oh, I love this culture, I love that culture, but to experience it deeply, you know, like I said, you're going to find the good and the bad, and that's what's in it. You know, you have to use the good to prosper and the bad to, you know.
How have I
Let it
enriched your life? This is the question.
Yeah, how has the different culture and your wife and experience?
It definitely make me a better man today. You know, more patient. You know, the support, all that kind of stuff.
Right. It has.
And how has like broadened your horizon, like open minded, like it has made you a little bit more open minded about the world?
Like,
or?
did you even know about Yemen prior to that?
No.
See,
I knew about Yemen from her, actually.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
where
I
it is,
figured,
what's
yeah.
happening in Yemen, Yemeni people, you know, getting interested in more learning the Arabic, language and all that kind of stuff.
And same for Senegal.
I never heard about Yemen until I kind of.
So when you seen her, what did you think she was? Like, what culture do you think she was?
I thought she was Ethiopian. That
Oh,
was my
okay.
first
Really?
guess.
That's
Yes.
a great guess.
Yes.
no, now since she said that, I could see it. Like, it makes
Everybody
complete sense.
Everybody who's Ethiopian knows I'm Ethiopian.
Okay.
And everybody who's Yemeni knows I'm Yemeni.
Yeah.
So when you have that ambiguous, like, they can pick up on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't know anything about his culture at all.
I didn't
And
know Akon was from there. You said it.
I did know that. I did
that's
know
my
that.
punch line. When people are like, do you know Senegal? I was like, do you know Akon?
Akon.
Senegal.
That's why I was saying, like, because I know how when someone represents your whole country, sometimes when other people
Yeah.
don't know it, like some
Like,
people get annoyed by them or might not like them because like he might not be a great representation, even though I think he is. But just that's why I asked you about the Akon
Like Abu
situation.
Hantala or whatever his name is for the Yemeni.
I've never heard of Abu Hamdullah in my life.
I don't listen. Ali Abdullah Saleh.
Yeah.
And
That's it. That's all you need to hear.
And Nassim the boxer.
Right, Nassim the boxer.
Oh,
right, Prince
I don't know who
Nassim.
that
Yeah,
Yeah.
Prince Nassim too.
And no, you keep on.
You're so young. I keep forgetting that you're so young.
Like,
Yeah, I don't know him.
Prince Nassim, right.
See, like, stop. Okay. Okay, so you know how you kept on saying like he's like so calm and stuff. So I get so when you did come and ask for her and stuff, and I know her dad was like kind of probably a little fiery and whatnot. Were you still calm at that time,
Yeah.
or okay?
And they noticed that right at the
Yeah.
get-go.
I sometimes
When,
I'm
I sit around her family, like I said, that's where the difference come to play. I'm calm and they are all like just sitting there and watch.
like you should see me and my sister and my mom have a conversation in front of him. He's like,
Are you arguing? Are you?
No, we're
It's
just
normal. I
talking.
know.
No, and I remember your mom. She was full of life.
And
Like
that- she
you could
is
hear
still,
her from the end
mashallah.
of the hallway, and she's like,
Allah
"Hey, mashallah." Yeah,
yeah, Allah
She's such a
yatawwal
sweetheart.
amra, inshallah.
Yeah.
She's
She gives good hugs too.
I know my mom. I'm the same way too. But we're just having a normal conversation, and he's like, "What's going on? Like, are you guys okay? Are we arguing?"
What
He
are
has
you
to
doing?
check. And even when I'm having conversation with my mom and we're acting hot because we're talking about maybe a topic we're passionate
Passionate.
about,
Yeah,
right? He'll say the same thing, and he'll start like this, with his hands low. Like,
And that
"Let's
used to
explain it."
be like a deal breaker. That used to be a big problem. Whenever we start talking, I'm like,
and
settle
I would be
calm down.
offended.
She get
Yeah.
offended
I'm like,
right
"How
away.
you mean?"
Yeah. Like, I'm mad. Why are you mad that I'm mad?
Right. Or like I'm calm, but it sounds like I'm
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
So he's like, chill. I am. Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
you.
Just maybe a couple of personal things before we just wanted. You mentioned that you play soccer, Sheikh. Can you tell us a little bit about that journey and how?
So, when I was in Senegal, you research about, university, schools and all that, right? So when I was in there, I find this school in New Orleans called University of New Orleans. Basically, as a foreigner, you have to be in those English program, right? ESL program to learn English before you go to university. So when I was there researching about classes and all that, they show me the ESL classes cost, right? They say, okay, you pay, $2,500 a month, things like that. So when I come to the US, I finish my ESL classes, the English courses are done. Now I have to go to university. And the university course was like $60,000 a year, $70,000 a year. And there was no way that I could pay that. So I went to talk to the school advisor. I was like, hey, there's no way possible that I'm gonna be able to pay that, And they start asking me questions. Do you have athletic ability? That kind of stuff. I was like, yeah, I'm a soccer player. So they was like, okay, start looking around for soccer college, and get involved in that, create some video tips. So I started doing that. And I was supposed to come to play in University of Michigan men's soccer team. But by the time I came, it was too late because I was a little older. I would think I was like 22, 23. And then to qualify for the NCAA, they offer 2-period grace. Like you have to be 2 years prior, and I was already like 4 years out, so I did not qualify. So the coach from U of M hooked me up with all the college like Siena Heights University and Jackson College. So I went in there with full ride scholarship and play while I go to school.
Nice.
Oh,
what
that's
brought
a
me to
great
Michigan.
counselor.
I know.
Yeah.
Because like I would have
Looking
never
out.
assumed to be like, hey, I can't pay this. I'd be like, figure it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, go
Don't
ask
do it.
somebody.
Yeah.
Go
Right.
take out a loan.
Right.
Or it's
Right.
not for you.
Sah.
I've heard that.
That was
from
nice.
bad
That was
so-
very nice
Yeah.
that they did that for you.
So that's what, brought me in. I tried to, be professional, but it didn't work out. And Detroit didn't have a team, so.
You know they have a Detroit City
Yeah.
FC now.
I played that same division back in New Orleans, but I did try, but I was more focused into, getting my nursing
Yeah.
school done because there was no money in football, in
Yeah, for
soccer,
sure.
I mean.
For sure. And then, I mean, I know you kind of touched on being a teacher, but how did you enjoy that journey and stuff like that?
Education opened a lot of opportunities for me to travel and for me to meet people and become an expert in that field, alhamdulillah. And then I saw a need for, especially when COVID happened, I saw a need for housing. And because people were now stuck at home giving education to their kids and calling me and willing to take the risk because that's how bad it is. And then there were some situations where like, hey, I need to buy a home. They're not happy there. And so I looked into real estate and I got my real estate license and I've been doing that since.
Mashallah.
Mashallah. And then, we appreciate you guys, like I said, for coming on here and sharing your stories. I feel like the conversation flew by and we're reaching that point where for advice time, it's advice time. So I guess my question to the both of you, and basically it's what advice would you give, to other eventual couples, inshallah, that, and about multicultural relationships, especially those navigating, through cultural differences their first time. So basically, like, what advice would you give, others who are maybe already in one or, are maybe looking to get into one? Because a lot of people out there sometimes have that opinion about their own culture, like, I'm never going to marry somebody from my culture ever. And you guys made this look like a cool thing, so there might be more people not having this episode. So I bet if you could record this part, I really am probably going to pull that clip out, but, we're going to see if we can get a couple clips out, all right? So with that said, what advice would you give them? We can start off with Sheikh, and then we'll go to Amina. Go ahead, Sheikh.
I would say enjoy your uniqueness. Create your own culture within your culture. Right? You have your own culture. I have my own. Let's, create our own now in our household. Like, make something unique out of that. Like I said, there's always good part of the culture. Bring those good part and make it unique. Make it work. Make it like a solid thing. And something great can generate from that. That's the advice that I would give everybody.
I love that. Amina, same question
And
to you.
that goes like perfectly into mine. Be open-minded, be accepting, respectful, and it'll enrich your life. There's a lot of things that you'll get to experience that you haven't experienced before. It's an adventure and it keeps going. So
There you go. Go ahead and give that a round of applause.
That was cute. That was cute.
I love that. It's
I would
very-
see. I pick off peaceful energy from you, so I don't know if it's rubbing off or whatever, but you look chill.
100%. 100%. Alhamdulillah.
No, and Sheikh too, man. I appreciate you, man. Coming on here and
No problem.
cracking jokes and then having a good time, man. Honestly, it was a great conversation.
Yeah. Oh, it was amazing.
I feel like there's like more that could be maybe asked and said, and then and people enjoying it. But I feel like we kind of touched on a lot of the topics. And if you guys do have any other questions, think about them. As I tell people to again follow us on all of our socials. You have YouTube, Oz Media, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, all under Oz Media. You can listen to this show later on Apple and Spotify podcasts under Oz Media. Again, and then if you want, I want to give a shout out to the sponsors: Balkan House, Juice Box, Qahwah House, BC Adhesives, Specialty Medical Center, and Hanley International Academy. This is the time for final words and final comments. So, Sada, any final words and final comments?
Thank you guys for coming. It was awesome having you guys both on here. And may Allah keep you guys happy and
Ameen.
healthy and, joint together, inshallah.
Inshallah.
But هذا الدنيا والآخرة إن شاء الله.
I mean, inshallah. And I'm going to just jump off that. I just want to say thank you guys for coming on and sharing this, because, a lot of people are, so close. They don't like to share what their relationships or whatever their their marriage is going. So I appreciate you guys coming on.
All day, but
Hey, think of some topics.
She did it. She sent me like 5 topics. I picked this one because I thought it would be very beneficial.
10.
10. 5 to, I was gonna say 5 to 10. Mashallah, very good topics too. Like very specific. Like we have not covered any of them. So
Wow,
Awesome.
nice.
Thank you.
Mashallah.
Thank you so much.
Hey, you've been winking at me all day. You're
Bring me back.
of course.
Sheikh, any final words?
I would likely say the same thing. Thank you for having us. Thank you for the great conversation. Thank you for everything. Salama, may God bless you and make this podcast, like the Joe Rogan podcast.
Inshallah.
Everybody come around and
yeah.
You know what's gonna help?
enjoy the show.
You reach out to your family in Senegal. We need all the Senegal people.
Inshallah. Whenever they do that, I'm gonna hit you up, inshallah.
Inshallah,
Yeah.
no, all jokes aside, we appreciate you guys. Seriously, you guys are the guests are the topics. That's what I always say. That's how we get different topics, is because a lot, everyone's different. We can even talk about something again, but with a different person to have a whole nother perspective on the conversation.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
But this was the first time we've done this, so thank y'all for coming on, and hopefully now because it was kind of hard to find people that were open to having this
Yes,
conversation.
a lot.
This
I remember
was my
people-
first time on a podcast myself. So,
Well, you did very natural.
Yeah.
Very natural.
Yeah.
Sometimes a lot of couples that are interracial, like they don't want to like talk about, because there's
Different.
Because it was
Yeah.
probably traumatic of them coming together.
No, alhamdulillah, it's been such a blessing.
Yeah.
And this whole thing has been a blessing, and it doesn't make it's not hard to talk about.
Yeah.
Sometimes I gotta step back and not be too braggy because of the ayn,
Yeah,
So I'm
for sure, for
So I'm always like alhamdulillah, and I keep things to myself really. But it's nice to let other people know that
It could work.
It could work.
For sure. And you're inspiring others.
I mean, whether it's interracial or, people have issues in every relationship.
100%.
Whether you marry the same person, like I even, back in the days, like even with people from my same culture, brothers and sisters have issues, let alone husband and wife. So,
For sure.
as long as you find this, middle ground and then work the issues out, that's all it takes.
You guys got the Islam as your anchor. You're not gonna go wrong.
100%.
Alhamdulillah.
I love that. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for those that watch. Tony brought some entertainment into this conversation as well. Appreciate you, Tony. He's making up for Sunday. He ended up not coming Sunday, so he wanted to throw some comments out.
Wrong show.
Shout out to Tony. We appreciate him. We appreciate you all for tuning in. We'll be back live again next week, Tuesday, with Imam Ismail al-Ghazali. He's going to come on to talk about proper etiquettes of a Muslim. So that should be an interesting one. He's going to come on here and he's going to just... he's one of those guys that you said fire in us and Yemeni in our blood. He's one of those guys. I can tell you that. So it should be an interesting conversation. Looking forward to that. Thank you all for tuning in. This was season 3, episode 13 of Motivate Me 313 podcast. Have a great rest of your night. We'll see you all next week. Take it easy.